Welcome to NRL 180 Draft Show. If you don't know what this show is about, let me give you a quick wrap up. We talk about the player's performance in the draft show. So if you don't know too much about draft, we'll educate you along, but come with us on the journey, okay? And also we're going to discuss a few of the hot topics in the NRL and go through the normal things that any bloke that loves the NRL would actually go through. My name is David Suka. I'm your host for tonight and the Commissioner of Soldiers of David. Tonight, I have my co with me, Sammy Nader, also team manager called Sam Bader, part of the Soldiers of David. I have also Anthony, Mr. Georges, with me on the right-hand side, who'll talk to you more about exactly what his team's gone through and some of the heartbreaks that we're having in our own draft show. And a special guest for me tonight, we have Mr. Anthony Barbarian, Commissioner of the Super League. Super League, another draft comp on. How you doing, Anthony? How you been?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on. And tonight we have an absolute cracker show. And for the first time, we are delivering something that you guys hopefully want to see. We're going to talk about a few little bits and pieces, a few hot topics. I want to get your view on things. But before we get to that, I know you're aching to talk about it. And we're going to speak the truth tonight. We're going to go through it in detail from our perspective. We have a voice. I'm going to tell you all about it very, very soon. But before we get into that, hot things happening in our group, Soldiers of David. Talk to me.
It's been a very interesting week.
Has been.
We've had a lot of people that we thought would have made it, got knocked out. A couple of the big boys at the top getting dropped down. It's been a very interesting week. Yeah, you've managed to just squeeze in there with a couple of good losses.
You got like honestly, Ev, somebody's looking after you.
Oh,
yeah. You can say that. You can also say I've copped the beauty this year. There's been times where 3-4 of my first draft picks are sitting out, and I'm playing free agents. So, yeah, it's been difficult.
You've hustled, yeah.
We have to. Well, look, it's been tough. I think on everyone this season. It has been kind of hard for some people to transition into the comp as well. But I feel like it's going to be a real crack of a finals. That's just what I believe.
Yeah, it looks like that.
And look, if you look at the ladder, it got really tight towards the top eight spot.
The bottom five was going up to 5 people that could make the 8, and everything worked in my favour except for obviously GK. He lost against Lick My Penasini, which knocked me out of 8, put me in 9th position, and put Anthony up to 8th position.
It's like that.
But in saying that, I think he's the most dangerous person to come out of 8th position.
I think so.
Very dangerous.
If you're asking me for my tip, I think it's Anthony going to take it out this year.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that very shortly.
Yeah.
Anthony, please talk to us. Super League, what's happening?
Like you said, we've had a very tight finish in our competition as well. We basically had 3 guys tied on points. Came down to the final week. Myself, basically ended up taking the competition out on points difference.
Oh, nice. That's not congratulations.
So it was tough, but similar to Anth, ground out the win. Unfortunate to Joey, had Jerome Hughes and Connor Tracy died in the first couple of minutes, so that was unfortunate for him. But yeah, that's same. Just looking forward to the final series. It's going to be a very tight competition, a lot of good teams.
And you guys had a tight finish. Like you had a few people competing for first for a while.
I mean, we had a tight finish. I think I had myself and Christmas Stukranskis. By the way, I know you don't understand some of this stuff. We're going to go through it very soon. We're going to educate you. We're going to take you on a ride with the different sort of names. But now, let's get through some hot topics. We're going to get back to that. Honest opinion. Let's talk about Ricky Stewart. Sorry, my bad.
Look, he's a mature age man. He should have known a better way to deal with something like that. You're talking about an 18-year-old and you call him a gutted dog. That's very disrespectful.
I think so.
Very disrespectful.
Knowing that there's going to be ramifications was also, quite surprising to most people. The way he went about it, what he said, and knowing there's going to be obvious consequences, it's pretty crazy. It was quite emotional and a silly decision on his end.
It cost him $25,000, but I don't know if that's enough for him to learn to stop doing stupid things like that. Look, you can't go calling a 19-year-old kid or a player, an athlete, a gutted dog. Yeah. It's not on in the NRL.
Yeah, I mean, you say something like that on the streets,
you're going to get
pretty much. What do you think, Ev?
Look, I think definitely there's more to it. something happened, but Ricky Stewart's known for his explosive.
Sorry, but the family's come out and said there was nothing.
No, 100%. Let me finish. So he's known. It was a big game for Canberra, right? They had a lot on the line. They couldn't lose that game. He's known for his post-match outbursts. I think he definitely took it too far. I think it will hurt him because along with the $25,000 fine, he cannot have any contact with his team this week.
1 week suspension.
So he can't. I mean, there's probably ways around it, but he can't contact, he can't coach, he can't even coach from home. So, look, it's a pretty hefty fine, but
I think
I agree. I think the coaches have a platform to voice their opinions, and I don't think they should go.
I think he got away lightly, to be honest.
Yeah, and look, I think the excuse of like him, the emotions getting the best of him. That's something that an 18-year-old was saying, or somebody coming out of high school would say to his mother trying to get out of shit. Exactly. But sorry, Ricky, I'm going to say I'm not for you on this one. I don't think anybody in the panel is for it. I think it was wrong, and whatever the fine was and whatever the consequences were, I think it's justified. But yeah, I think hopefully we'll see coaches take a bit of precaution and actually think about what they're saying.
As a coach, you're there to look after your athletes. So start looking after your athletes.
I want to ask you something, and I don't want to spend too much time with this. Anthony, what do you think this actually does to a person like Salmon, like the confidence for him? Like when he hears something like that, I mean, does it work does it favour him? Does it come out the next day? I mean, the next round, does it come out pumped up, or does he just lay back and just really fuck with his head about what the comments?
I just think, to be honest, he does both. He's in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. But Jamin Salmon's played, I don't know how many games at NRL. No one knows who he is. Now they do. Whether it's wrong or whether it's right or whether it benefits him in his career, now everyone knows who he is because of those comments.
Yeah, you can take the positive out of that.
And he should sort of use this as an opportunity,
as a platform to do. Yeah.
And I think they're doing okay. Like Penrith are a powerhouse. They've got no Cleary, no Luai. These two halves have jumped in and they're still winning. Look, it's hard to say they're not going to win the comp.
100%.
They're just unbelievable.
Look, we're going to go more into detail. We'll talk about them specifically very soon. The other thing we want to touch on, and we felt was important, and look, it happened a couple of weeks back, but I don't think there was enough conversation about it, or there was enough thought about, exactly what's going on here. But the Pride jersey situation, look, for me was, I cut it. I'm very simple on it. It's political. Don't involve the game in it. Because as a result for me, regardless of how this whole thing went down, you have Manly fans at the grandstands now looking at Jason Sub, and by the way he kind of came out on the field the other day, and we'll speak about his performance, probably his greatest performance of his career.
That goes back to motivating.
100%, and it could be the exact same sort of situation for Jason Salmon, but I felt like the communication between the whole franchise from the top all the way to the bottom, if they can't get that crystal clear, and if they're going to be making calls like that without actually running through the certain measures that you have to before you kind of take on something like that.
It was very poorly managed. Very poorly managed.
That's my thought on it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it.
I'll jump in here. My biggest issue with that, 4 or 5 years ago, Sonny Bill Williams, world-class athlete, came out and said he won't be wearing anything with alcohol or betting on his jersey. Instantly taken off his jersey, he plays the next week. Correct?
Yeah.
And that's based on his religious beliefs. So these 7 or 8 players, what's their religious beliefs don't matter?
Yeah. And you know what frustrates me the most? It's when they turn around and say, so they pick and choose. It's like, there's gambling and alcohol in the jersey. Isn't that a sin? And why are they even putting... I feel like they've really kind of, it's almost like they're patronising the situation. I feel like you can't really compare the two. At the end of the day, whether you're drinking or whether you're gambling, it's not a sin. Obviously, if you're excessive in it, that's something different. And let's be honest, nothing good comes out of a drunken fella walking down the street, or nothing good comes out of a drunken person driving. But regardless, I believe it was a wrong move. What do you think, Gav?
Look, I'll start off by saying the club was very, very poorly managed by the club. I know for a fact that clubs get presented their apparel prior to the season starting. Maybe this was sort of sprung up on them a couple of weeks ago, but for the players to find out a day or 2 days before the game, I think it's either a lie coming from within the club, and you'll probably hear more about it further down the track. Commercially, it was just it was a cash grab. I think just to sell some to sell some jerseys.
100%.
I think for again going back to that point, I think for a club to get a jersey up and running and available for people to purchase 2 days before the players either did or didn't know about it is not true. So I don't know how that works, and I think look at the end of the day.
I mean, you would know from some of your experience, Miles, like if we're talking about productions and putting something into play or putting something for you to actually put it onto the market, how long does that process generally take?
A long time. I mean, look, it's only it was only a couple of different lines added to the jersey, so probably not as much as reconfiguring a whole jersey, but definitely more than a couple of weeks. Yeah, not the week of or 2 days before.
They managed to get Hugh Jackman wearing a jersey before the players even knew about it.
Well, that's another thing. So someone's lying or someone's
exactly.
And look, I think at the end of the day, look,
it all gets swept under the carpet.
Yeah,
exactly. It all gets swept.
They tell you what you want to know.
But you know what
or what they want you to hear, basically. But another thing as well, I'll say, is that at the end of the day, rugby league is a business, right? I think I agree with you. I think it should be kept aside in terms of political or other issues. But I also think if at the end of the day it comes down to forcing someone to do what they don't want to do, I think that's wrong. So if the players chose to sit out, I think good on them. And the players that chose to wear it, they came out, they fought, and they wore it, and that's it.
But my argument was why can they decide, why don't they just say, okay, we're not going to wear that jersey, let's just wear a jersey without the colours on it.
Jersey.
Like the Sonny Bill situation.
It's not as easy to put players out. Some players in the jersey.
You know what I feel. Sorry. If you allow somebody to wear 7 jerseys that don't have the shops on it, wouldn't have made a fucking difference.
Exactly.
But you know what I feel. I feel the only reason why they didn't do it was the heat they were going to get back from the LGBTQ community. That's the only reason why. They wouldn't allow it. And again, allowing politics to fuck up the game. It's not good. It's not good one bit.
Their excuse was Manly seek permission from the NRL, and the NRL didn't allow it.
Of course.
And like Barb said, there could be a lie in there.
Oh, well, sorry, if they did something like that, it's not only Manly in the spotlight, it's NRL in the absolute spotlight.
That's right.
And they'll absolutely tear the shred out of the sports if they really wanted to kind of come down the line.
You know what's interesting to see? How the NRL handles this moving forward now, what they do, because the AFL's had Pride Round for the last couple of seasons, so
it's inevitable.
So let's see where it takes them, I guess.
Let me throw something at you guys. Tomorrow, the Bulldogs come out and decide they're going to do a Pride jersey.
There'll be a
How does that go in our local community?
It won't work.
We're all very involved in our local community. How does that go in our community?
I think
Look, the whole game gets boycotted.
Yep, absolutely.
Not one person will be there. It's got to be all around the same NRL, and the rules have to be the same for everyone.
I think.
I think Phil Good will probably get assassinated.
It'll be an absolute disaster.
And at the end of the day, look, it was women in league round. They took it away from women in league round. That's the most important thing.
Which, by the way, sorry, I'm a big fan of.
100%.
And it is getting bigger and better. And to see these athletes, why? Anyway.
But it's not only the women playing NRL, it's women in the community, all these mothers.
The people making their roles for under 12s.
You go to local footy on a Saturday, the mums are going
100%,
crazy.
they hold the clubs.
Look. At the end of it, I think from all of us, and I speak on behalf of the boys here, that the only thing that concerns us the most, or concerns me personally the most, is, and I'm not part of the guys inside the sheds, and I'm not talking to them, and I'm not a part of that community, but I just really hope that the players are getting along and not allowing this to get interrupt their footy, and really respect each other's opinions, because if you're going to have outcasts within a team environment, it's going to send the club into dire straits. So for me, I believe that as long as, and you know what, I felt on the game, Jason Saab had an absolute crack up the game. You had pretty much all the guys that were opposed to it had a very good game.
They had
that game.
They
did.
But that's what they're there for. They're there to play.
Exactly.
That's what the game's about. Leave the politics out.
I think they proved that well. I think they proved that really well. But look, for the sake of the Manly Sea Eagles, I really, really hope that you guys get it together, respect each other, move forward, and let's try to learn from experiences like this. Now, let's talk about the performances for last week in the draft community, or in the draft sort of spotlight. Cameron Munster, 93, explosive, magical, sexy, turn on, every way, 93 points, unbelievable.
Out of position.
But he enjoys it.
Look,
he loves fullback.
Look, Cameron Smith came out straight after the game and said, "You can play this guy anywhere on the NRL field, and he's gonna blow everything out of the park."
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's one of those once in a lifetime athletes, if you ask me.
Great performance, but I also think that it had a lot to do with the opposition they faced on that
of
line
course.
as well. So, but not taking nothing away from.
No.
I
He's
think
a
in
beautiful
10
boy.
years' time, we're going to say he's probably one of the best Queensland players to ever play. You know, you talk about
Yeah, I
Wally
think
Lewis sort of level and whatnot. Cam Munster
He'll be
sort
an
of
all-rounder.
taken over that arena.
He's just too suave. He just understands the movement of the field, movement of the ball. He knows where he's just unbelievable. Nico Hines, come on, man.
He's been doing it all year.
Like,
Yep. Well, he's the best player.
number one pick for me next year, 100%. That's for me.
That's if you can beat Christmas with the Kranskis to it.
Uh-huh.
His first pick was
Hey, he took him first this year in our draft.
Who did?
Not-
Yeah, he took him in both. Yeah.
No, not he didn't take him first. Jeff took him first.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, Jeff took him first.
Latrell Mitchell, 84. Will Penasini, 61. Matt Burden, 60. Clint Gutherson, 69. Dylan Brown, and this kid, he's gorgeous. Dylan Brown is gorgeous.
He's gone to a
81.
new level this year.
Everybody doubted him, and everybody kept on doubting him. And not only in the real community, even in the draft. Like, no, Dylan Brown's he's a beast.
The reason they doubt him, when you've got a dominant halfback,
That's right.
if
Which dominant half? Moses?
Moses is very dominant.
I think when he wants
He's
to.
their marquee player.
Look, we'll talk about Moses in a second, but look, no, I'll talk about it right now. Okay? Yes, Moses. Okay? He's a dominant half. But in patches,
Yeah.
inconsistent.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's Parramatta in a nutshell.
And honestly, it shows like through the draft and through its performances, you can see the difference. You can see like Dylan Brown is always up there as far as points go. He was a great pickup this year. This person for me absolutely blew me away this year, and for me, Joe Efehengawi, he is
Underrated.
He is week in, week out.
He was Barbara's boy last year.
We spoke about he had a disaster, but this season he's doing something beautiful for the Tigers out there, and he's a real big
playing for
leader.
a contract.
Huh?
He's playing for a contract.
All year, he's
That's-
been
that's
putting
what a real
110%
athlete
all
does.
year.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
an
good on
athlete
him.
does, man.
Good on him. I respect that a lot. Harry Grant 67, Nat Butcher 66, Angus Crichton coming back, I think, back into form 79, and get out of his lane 67. He has been a revelation this year. Sean Lane, come on.
Special.
Look, you look at Papalili, and he's a god within himself. But then you look at Sean Lane, and you think to yourself, wow. I think Parramatta, for me personally, have the best dual edges in the game.
They just can't get together properly.
But they always do their. I think they just always do the work in, week out. You can't tell me Papalili or Shane or Mr. Lane have ever had bad games in that sense. They always push. They always push to try to lift the team up.
Absolutely consistent. Dave, can I mention a player that you haven't mentioned yet?
I'm so sorry. I'm just about to get to him, and I can't believe I've left it this long. I apologise. I apologise. It's my fault.
That's okay, but Matt Burden, I mean, the guy's out of control.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. We're going to be talking about this guy in 2-3 years and saying, and I hope I'm not absolutely jinxing him, but we're going to be talking about this player in 2-3 years and saying, either the Bulldogs have lost him because we haven't secured this bloke yet, long term and very quickly, or we're going to be saying he's the Bulldogs legend. You know, we're going to be referring to him like the Mortimers and whatnot. This guy's unbelievable. He's changing the way they kick the ball. You know, everyone could do a spiral. Yeah. My goodness, he's kicking it to Mars.
He is.
It's out of control at the moment.
He's changed, and I think the joy him and Adokar is working really well. That brought a lot to the club, and I was at the game the other day, and to see the amount of kids at the ground and absorbing.
And all for Adokar.
And all for Adokar. He's brilliant.
He's a brand.
What he's doing to the club down there, and that's
he alone is a brand. The Bulldogs bring him not only for his effort on the football field. He's in the community every single day, getting a haircut in Belmore, going to talk to people, signing things for children. He's changed the whole of Belmore.
And I think he has.
And we haven't seen that since.
Hasm?
No, Hasm and Josh.
Josh Reynolds.
Which is why they want to bring him back.
Ooh, you know what? Is that definitely happening?
Look, Gus is denying it, but I'm pretty sure it's true. For a 1 year, but then put him as an ambassador role.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming to play. I think he's coming to sort of help out, probably help out the young kids coming up, help out in the community.
I think he's got a year in him though.
Good on him, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think so. Sorry, my bad. I failed to mention him. Cameron Murray, 94 points.
Oh,
If we're talking about somebody that's changed the game, I think all stations leads to Cameron Murray. I think that for me is he is something slick. He's something sexy.
like a
He's
lineman.
consistent. He's fit. He's agile. He's rough. He's tough.
You're going to be honest there, David.
I don't know. Just a bit. Just a bit. He's good.
You know
and
what?
you know what? And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he's a lot of people's first pick next year, because Nico Hines, yes, but to have that coming like injection in your team.
he was my third pick, and
Can't believe he
I
lasted that
cannot believe he was there.
It's disrespectful to him.
Absolutely, he's my first pick next year. I couldn't care less. He's overtaken Haas. He's overtaken all these types of guys.
Yeah.
And Haas is having a very weird year. Suspensions, injuries, not even playing the way he played. And he's still unbelievable. But Cam Murray, my goodness.
Can I say
like,
something with Cam Murray as well? Like for me, he's probably the if not the best forward in the game. At the moment.
Absolutely.
You look at Fafita, million plus. You look at Tamalolo, $1 million plus.
Wow.
I think Cameron Murray's like nearly twice the player as those two.
I think
to be honest with you.
Yeah, half
bang
the
for your
choice.
buck,
He
isn't
plays,
it?
he can play 80 minutes week in, week out.
Wow. And he doesn't even put not a sweat.
79th minute, he's
More
still
of-
throwing these.
It's one to think about, I think.
100%. I think Cameron Murray's definitely up there.
How much is he on, Buzz? Like, is he, like, would it be the 700-800 mark?
I think they re-signed him maybe end of last year. Pretty sure they did.
Around the sixes, I'd say.
He'd be
Yeah.
He'd be around that mark.
I think he's worth that million mark.
Value for money.
That's what I'm saying. If you're paying $1 million plus, what's the fair done?
1.2,
What's he done
my
for the past
goodness.
2 years? He'll do a line break here and there.
No, he's been disappointed this year.
Tamalolo.
Sorry, David, I love you, but you've been a disappointment this year. Honestly, and again, you'll know. Through draft into NRL, it's all correlating. And it makes sense. And it does make sense. And for our viewers, you're going to understand when we talk about draft, how it changes your perspective on the player and really realize and understand what they're doing on the field. We're going to continue on. This guy's also gorgeous, James Tedesco, 68. Dylan Edwards, who I believe he is. We're going to keep on, like,
Iron Man.
I mean, come on. Like, how much does the guy have to do? Like, he needs to, I think, get more praise.
Well, he's in the spotlight this week.
You know what they're talking about.
Tell me, like,
Wants more money.
why isn't he Sam? Why doesn't he get the spotlight? Dylan Edwards.
Sam fell asleep.
Oh, this guy, Dylan Edwards. And how consistent he is and how good he is.
And they're saying top 3 Dally M
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
that's,
surprised.
that will put him in the spotlight, I think.
100%. Look, no Nathan Cleary Luai,
Yep.
and Anthony, I'm sure you agree, he's stepped it up.
Oh, absolutely. He's playing as if he's one of the senior players, and he's actually been in the spotlight this year. Andrew Boston that have been talking about it. He wants more money. His manager's approached Penrith and said he deserves more money, and Penrith are a little bit taken back by it. Whereas I think he deserves it.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
worth it.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to secure him. They've got
Sorry,
big money
can you
players.
put him in the category of Tedesco?
Absolutely
Turbo?
not. No, I can't. But he does his job for the team in
They
a good
keep
team.
saying, how come he hasn't had an Origin jersey? Where are you going to put him?
Oh, yeah, no.
Origin, you probably can't play.
Yeah.
He
They
can't
keep
play
saying
right.
he's one of the players in the team.
I think
who
he's
deserves
top. I think
Origin.
he's top 5 fullbacks.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I think so.
He doesn't
It's just a
have...
shame that he's got Turbo, he's got Latrell, he's got Tedesco.
Yeah,
There's too many
Yeah,
players.
it's true. It's
He's
true.
not that type
I think
of
he can
player,
help
you
wing
know.
that.
But-
They've played players out of
He's
position.
Mr. Consistent. That's all he is.
Yeah, I don't think he's sort of got anything flash to his game.
Yeah.
I just think he's consistent, does his job, but then again, it's probably easier to do your job in a great team.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Structured team like that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
We'll continue along. Kelma Tuolangi, 67. He's been going pretty good for the Tigers. He's playing his heart out. He's had a couple of good rounds. He's had a couple of good 56s in him. And also the last person for the round, also I believe is very consistent and what a player on the field. Isaiah, he is something special. But that's the performance of the round. But right now we're going to speak about a few injuries, a few updates.
Yeah.
But let's
Sorry,
go.
Dave. Before we
Sorry,
do that,
yeah.
you bring up Tedesco now. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. I know it's going to be very uncomfortable for a lot of people that are watching, especially the coaches. Now, we had Rich join the comp, which no problem. He was very good to start with.
If you understand, Rich is
Yeah.
one of the
coaches,
managers
yeah.
in our comp soldiers of David. Correct.
I'm very upset about this because it's disrespectful to the game. It's disrespectful to the other coaches that you can have a couple of losses and decide you're going to leave the competition and drop players to FA.
I think it's very childish.
It's not happening.
I think it's
You can't walk into Ruby Street, walk into the backyard, decide you're going to join a draft halfway through the year, say I'm out, without saying anything to anyone.
yeah. It's poor.
It's absolute disrespect. What would you do as commissioner of your team if that happened?
I think
I'll try.
it's not on. I think, look, I don't think you can do much now, but I think moving forward, you've got to make a decision.
Mate, and he's in the top 8.
And that's what frustrates me the most, is that so many people have worked their arse off, and it can get a bit emotional, this stuff. It can really hit the nerves, especially you've been working all day, you come back home and your escape out of work is jumping onto the draft and trying to understand your team. You're working your ass off to get in the top 8, and there you have somebody who's had 10 wins, come in 6th,
and you're sitting
got a very decent side, who has every chance, like everybody else in the top 8, to win the finals. Just give up on absolutely everything.
I think that's a bigger sign of disrespect, not only for the coaches but for the game.
Oh yeah, I think so.
For the game of draft.
I think
don't join it if that's the case.
If you're looking at joining the draft, you need to be committed. You need to be committed to the cause. And by commitment, as in watch NRL, love NRL, and keep on doing the beautiful things within NRL. It was disrespectful, and for me, I don't think it's got a very bright future at all.
I think the future's disappeared.
Yeah, I think so.
That needed to be addressed, because I know a lot of the coaches are very upset about that. Don't disrespect your team. Don't disrespect the draft. You dropped Teddy to FA.
Look, having Teddy, we've had Teddy in FA now for like 2-3 weeks, and I made a rule that
refused to pick him back up.
He's disappeared.
And then
The
of course,
commissioner's kicked him out of the group, so
he's out of the group
Which
now.
is nice, I guess.
But like he's got,
It affects everyone else in that.
because you know what's happened. He's come up against people, and it's an issue we'll talk about, because we stumbled across this season, where we found out when you realise that your side cannot make the top 8, the rule there is that you should not be able to trade one bid, because you could never
with the bottom end.
with the bottom end of the trade, because whatever sort of trade that he's going to do, it's not going to be, he's not working towards anything anymore. So the trades tend to sway the other way. We felt that today. We felt that in our group with GK. It was sort of like that, so I had to put an end to it.
The trade starts to sway to help someone.
You know what I mean? But then you had this guy drop Tedesco. Then another person's like waking up in the morning going,
Six people picked him up.
Looking him up and going, oh my god, Ted is available. Thinking they've hit the fucking jackpot. Oh my god, they picked him up. And then I've had to get people to drop him and explain to people you can't do it. It's exhausting. Yeah. It really is. It really is exhausting.
Rich, if you are watching, good riddance, mate, and we're not seeing you next year.
I think so.
That was completely disrespectful what you've done to the team.
I think so.
Anyway.
Well, look, on that note, let's get through it. I want to speak about a few things. I want to understand what's happening. He's keeping up with Ken.
Wow, thank you, David. Wow, good to be back. Welcome to Keeping Up with Ken on this first round of the draft finals. Good luck, everybody. Some news coming out of this week, boys. Pangai Jr. will miss this week due to being with his wife for the birth of his baby. Guys, if you do remember, this time last year, they unfortunately did lose a child, and yeah, he's back in Brisbane waiting on the birth of his child. Luke Thompson, look guys, reports are he won't play again this year as the Eyes are returned back to the Super League, which is huge news out of the Bulldogs, which is pretty unfortunate because he's been, great guns for the Dogs. Other news, boys, bit of good and bad news coming out of the Melbourne Storm. Scans reveal no major injury to Jerome Hughes, but unfortunately will be monitored and looking likely to miss the next 2 to 3 weeks. From Parramatta, guys, Ryan Madison, as you all know, left the field early last week due to concussion. With his shocking run with concussions, he will be monitored and may still line up, but yeah, we'll have to wait to the captain's run, guys. Guys, out of Canberra, some bad news also. Ricky Stewart has been fined $25,000 and suspended for 1 week due to his weak dog comments on German Salmon last week. Also out of Canberra, guys, Joe Tarpany will miss the next 2 to 3 weeks with a rib injury. Bad news for them. Mixed news out of Penrith, guys. The good news is Viliami Kikau will line up this week for the Panthers, but unfortunately Taylor May will not play. Taylor May has been ruled out. And yeah, he'll probably be replaced by Charlie Staines, I'd say. Guys from St George, Tyreek Sims has played his last game for the Dragons. As we all know, he has signed on to play for the Melbourne Storm in 2023. He's accepted the 4-week suspension and will not play again this year. Some more bad news out of Newcastle, guys. Mitch Barnett out for 2 to 3 weeks after having surgery, and also they will be losing Jake Clifford for the rest of the year after succumbing to an injury. Anyway, guys, thank you again for another beautiful episode of Keeping Up with Ken. Wishing you all the best and good luck in the final series, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Always lovely to get your thoughts on the game, and thank you very much for being informative. I find he's beautiful, Ken.
Beautiful.
Always informative. He's that person in our group that always kind of lets you know what's going on with the players, who's injured, who's not, who's performing, who's not, and where the controversies. We appreciate what you do for us, Kenny, and thank you very much. Let's talk about the finals coming up. We're going to talk about the finals in the Soldiers of David group, and get a bit of predictions, a bit of flavour of what you guys think. Right. Sam, talk to us. What's going on?
So the first one is Andreas, which is Dreas 94 versus Christmas with the Kranskis, who's actually taken it out this year.
Yeah. By the way, congratulations, Robbie.
Congratulations.
It was an emotional week between the both of us, and look, I'm very happy for you and your coach.
I'm sure you're very happy.
And assistant.
Especially because you came second. I'm sure you're very happy.
I'm very upset about that. Right?
And that's back-to-back wins. Robbie's won 2 in a row.
He is back-to-back again, and I'm sure he wants us to mention it. Robbie's got back-to-back wins with Christmas the Kranskis, but on a serious note, congratulations. You work hard. No one works, and I think we all have to agree on it.
On that topic, let's be honest, he does have a secret weapon in his pocket.
He does, yeah.
He does.
I was going to say,
Angela plays a very big part. Robbie's very uneducated, it's a bit retarded side. But Angela is really the head of that group, the CEO of that company. So.
But there's nothing in the rules that stipulates against that, is there?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. I'm going to go here.
David, I think you should be congratulating Angela as well, because she's a big part of the squad there.
Angela, congratulations on the win for the Christmas of the Kranskis for the minor premiership and back-to-back. We wish you all the best here from NRL and 80 for you guys to have a fruitful finals. Fruitful final series, and see you actually even take that out as well. All glory to you. We praise you. Well done.
Husband's a peasant, but well done. Okay. Now that is 1 verse 2. So that's the biggest one we're talking about today.
1 verse 4. Sorry. 1 verse 4.
Andreas has been very strong. So
he has been. I feel like Christopher the Kranskis has made a couple of adjustments. He managed to pluck the win last week. It was very strong for him. I'm going to predict him on goal Christmas Kranskis.
I agree with that one.
Barbs, who are you going?
I'm going to go with Robbie. He's got the finals experience. Probably take him over.
Yeah, I think
that's three of us.
I think Andreas. I think he's got the probably best team after me, and I think he's quite strong.
Lick my Penasini, you reckon?
I think he's quite strong. His projected score every week is 600 plus. So
okay, there you go.
Majority goes with Robbie.
Next one,
we've got David versus Peter. So I can see Cleary versus All Sorts United.
I can't see Cleary.
I can't see
because I can't see him anywhere.
Okay. That's right.
So I can't see Cleary versus All Sorts United.
Now halfway through the year, this was 1 versus 2.
It was 1 versus 2.
Robbie came up.
Robbie, I think, maintained the first position for the last 2 weeks of the round and took it up.
Yeah,
so
he got 4-5.
He won in class. I'm going to go All Sorts United on that one.
Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with you there. I'm going to go with I can't see Cleary.
Oh, thank you, man.
Only because You've had a bad couple of games,
I have.
So it's due for a recovery. Your team's going to hopefully pull through.
Babs, what do you think on that one?
I can't say Cleary. I'm going to go with him, but
oh, thanks, man. Yeah. You're perfect. There you go, Anthony.
I'm a numbers guy. All Sorts United's got I can't see Cleary.
Okay, there we
go. There
you
go. Two for two there. 2 for I can't see Cleary and 2 for All Sorts United.
Okay, now we got Cash Mahoney versus Simon SASA.
Oh, big matchup.
That is a big matchup. This is a very, very important matchup, especially for Ken.
It's knockout this one.
Okay, now back to, I don't want to harp on this whole Richard situation, but Ken's team went up 2 levels because of that Richard situation.
I know.
Okay, now that puts Ken in a very dominant position over Simon.
I think it does.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to go with Ken on this one.
I'm going Cash Money as well.
I think Ken, off the back of his little speech just before, sounded very confident. So I think he's going to take that into this weekend and get the win.
Okay, done.
I'm sorry, boys. I'm going to have to go against you. Simon Essay has assured me he's going to win the comp. He's quite confident, so we're going to stick with Simon Essay.
There's some brotherly love, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And the last one,
Okay.
Rich versus Lick My Penasini.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
I
It's
think,
not really,
look,
it's not-
I think Lick my Richard is going to be licking his Penasini, and I hope he deep throats his Penasini before he's done. But
No.
Anthony, I don't think anyone can go against you on this one.
No.
And I think the whole team's behind you to finally knock him out.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah.
It's enough. I've had
He's
enough
done
of
his
that.
time, and
I've had enough.
we're all behind you on this. But in saying that, your team's a whole different level now.
Yeah.
You took on the grunt of having people on the bench all year just to get to this stage.
That's right. So, the guns are firing at the
They are
moment.
definitely for it. They are definitely for it.
Okay,
Thank you.
let's talk about the NRL round.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get your opinions about it. Who do you think? And we'll talk a bit about obviously where you feel teams are going to be in the finals. And I think there's been a bit of, I'm going to talk to you about the team that I believe is going to make the grand final. And I don't get too much into it, but this Souths uniform for me.
They've gone to
Anyway.
a different level. Okay. Now, on
Pat-
that topic,
yeah,
on
sorry.
that topic, do you want to mention our new segment? So we can go through it as we're going through this, which I think is an amazing segment. It's a very good cause.
Okay, all right, well, let's do it. All right. Play for a Cause is a new segment by the NRL 180 draft team here and the crew with us here. Basically, what we're going to be doing every single week, we're going to NRL 180 has decided, obviously, to sponsor and put together $100 a week on a multi, Play for a Cause, and if that multi hits, which we hopefully it does, the winnings go to Beanie for Brain Cancer, the Mark Hughes Foundation, which again for me is a very it's a very a special cause. We've seen it a lot. We've had a little girl in our community pass away from that sort of disease, and no one wants to see their little kids and siblings having that sort of disease or that cancer on them. And I think with the Mark Hughes Foundation, they're doing wonderful
doing
things.
amazing things,
And I'm a big fan. I'm a big advocate. So Play for a Cause. We're going to be putting a multi on us four. Okay, so everyone picks a leg. You know how it works. Everyone picks a leg. We'll go through the matchup round. We'll talk about obviously who you feel is going to win, and let's go. If you like the game and you pick it, so you pick the game that you want and pick the one leg, and we'll construct them,
Let's
put it
hope we
together.
can do our part for this great cause.
Okay, done.
All right, first game. We've got the Panthers versus Storm, 1 versus 4th. Anthony?
Look, I think I think Melbourne, off the back of last week, they were very promising. I think Penrith, even though they play well, they play within a structure. I think they're missing key players, and I think they'll get found out
Okay.
tomorrow.
There we go. Got one for the Storm, David.
Storm. No, I'm gonna cause it. I'm gonna go Penrith on this one.
Okay.
I think Jaden Salmon is really running hot. I think
That's up,
look, I think the guys are starting to get used to the No Cleary Luai show, and I feel like the communication on the side. I'm not putting anything against Nathan Cleary because he's gorgeous, he's beautiful, he's the best player in the comp. However, I feel like they're communicating a bit more and they're having each other's backs. And the vibe in that team at the moment, I think they'll get.
Look, I'm going to disagree with you on that one, David. Look, only because they versed Canberra last week.
And
Without their two big boys, Melbourne's a whole different outfit. Especially
They haven't
Munster.
been playing too well besides last week.
Yeah, but that's because they had no dominant players either. But now Munster's back, it's a whole different ballgame.
Really?
I'm going to go with
I think
Anthony.
they get
over
Meany
Melbourne.
back as well.
you got no. Well, Meany's in doubt. He's been named, but he's in doubt.
You
as
actually
well.
talking about Meany?
What do you mean?
Like Meany to change the game?
No. He's in doubt to play fullback.
Okay.
Okay, and you have Jerome Hughes out, and you have Cameron Munster playing with Cooper Johns. Okay, so any little shift there, if Meany can't play, Munster goes back to fullback. Who fills up with Cooper Johns?
It doesn't matter. When
It
you
does
put Munster
matter.
on
No,
the
it
field,
does
it's a whole
matter.
different ballgame.
It does matter because Hughes really lifted that
Okay.
side in the first half. Anyway, I'll go Penrith.
We've got a tiebreaker here, so
Yeah, see, I think it's a tough one. I think if Penrith win this, I think they win the comp. I think they're just unbelievable. They're an unbelievable team, unbelievable system. However, I do think Melbourne, maybe on paper at the moment, considering Penrith's halves being out and whatnot, I think Melbourne probably do the job.
Taylor May out as well today. confirmed.
Yeah. So I think Melbourne probably do the job, but Yeah, it's a tough one, guys.
All right, Melbourne's the first leg of our multi.
So we're going Melbourne?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 versus 1.
Is that how you want to do it? You guys want to do a win-win, or you want to pick one leg each? What do you think?
No, I think we'll go through it like that. It's
We'll
good.
go head to head? Okay, done. Melbourne.
Okay.
Mr. Sportsbet, Anthony,
Yes.
what's Melbourne?
Can you add that to the list?
Melbourne are
They're
paying
paying
$2.50.
$2.50. You know, can you pull up? We're gonna pull up a bet slip.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
All right,
No
put up a
problem.
bet slip.
Yep.
Okay, let's get through this. Warriors. Sorry.
Yes, no,
Sam.
you're right.
My
You're
bad. My bad.
Warriors versus Bulldogs. It's good to see Bulldogs as favourites.
Bulldogs. I'm gonna go Bulldogs. I'm not gonna bother.
I think it's going to be nice and quick.
We're gonna go Dogs. I'm going Dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dogs.
absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm not. And honestly, I'm doing that because I'm absolutely falling in love with the way they're playing. And by the way, something that I did want to mention at the beginning of the show, but can we just talk about it for 1 second? Potter, do we give him a chance or you don't?
He doesn't want the chance. He doesn't want to coach. He's there for a fill-in. He actually doesn't want to coach.
He's actually gone out and said that
Yeah.
he doesn't want to actually take on
Yeah.
that role.
Yeah.
I think deep down he'd want it, but he probably knows he's not going to get it.
I definitely think he wants to coach.
Yeah, I think so as well. I just think with the sort of situation happening with Burden and whatnot, there's much more important things like securing Burden than Potter being our coach. And we need someone like Cameron Serraldo and whatnot to secure Burden.
The thing is, everyone's talking about Mick Potter as a coach, but there's a lot of talk about this defensive coach. I'm not sure what his name is.
He was there with Barrett.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay, Aiden Barrett.
But he basically, Barrett wouldn't change his structure based on that coach's advice. He'd play within a structure. But then again, you talk about Serraldo. We can talk about the Bulldogs for an hour. You talk about Serraldo, right?
Absolutely.
That's another Barrett. Could be another Barrett.
Exactly.
It is.
Exactly.
So anyway,
They're just
we're
taking
all,
that.
half of us are Canterbury supporters, so we
So we're
get
gonna
very
go Dogs on that one, F.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dogs are paying $1.50, guys.
Okay.
Alrighty. Now, next game we've got the Rabbitohs versus the Eels. You're liking the Rabbitohs.
I am.
But you're also saying a lot of good things about Parramatta, so it's going to be hard for you this one.
One thing that I do know, this is going to be a cracker. It's going to be a cracker.
No, Moses.
I know. But you know what? Hold on. But I got to say it. Arthur's had a good game.
Yes.
He had a good game. He was very contained. He had a couple of try assists. He did some really good things. Yes, probably not spectacular, but he did his job. And I think if you have Dylan Brown kind of firing and doing the spectacular stuff, that can give Souths a real big fight. But in saying that, I just feel like Souths, when you feel like they're going to lose and lose control of the game, you have somebody like Latrell Mitchell jump up and then Cook and then Murray. It's just too much firing power there for them to allow the interruption into making the finals and making it in strong form.
So you're obviously going the Rabbitohs?
Yeah, we're going to go Rabbitohs.
Yeah, it's the Rabbitohs. So we're all Rabbitohs.
The only thing that worries me about the Rabbitohs is their halves at the moment. Lachlan and me and Anthony were speaking about this earlier. That Lachlan Elias, I don't know if he has a career next year. I don't know how he's sort of going to go. He's probably he's a good player. He's a good kid.
He's
But
not
just
already.
I don't know what the situation. Milford was meant to go to the club, and he was meant to learn off Milford this whole year. He's been rushed.
Yeah, but the good thing about Souths is that when you have someone like Latrell Mitchell, you can have an average half because he takes control of the game in that sense.
But Cody's not playing.
I think Elias has been better than Cody's.
And exactly right.
And that's saying how bad.
That's
you
true.
know.
And that's how bad Cody's going. It's not that Elias has been.
So how good of a side are they now, having shit halves like that and actually still going in the
Well,
direction
Latrell has made the difference.
Yeah.
He has made the
I
difference.
said it.
Joel Murray.
Look, I said it before. I think Latrell, when he had that NFL trip when he went overseas and he trained up and he learnt new techniques and learnt new ways of doing things and his directional sort of play. And we've spoken about it before. It's almost like he's in slow motion on the field now. He understands the game just a bit more than most. And he's doing.
I read an article today that Ilias decided he's going to play for Greece. Who gives a shit? Nobody cares about Ilias. Like, what? Who else? He's not going to play for Australia.
Yeah.
But he came out with confidence. I'm going to play for Greece. No one gives a fuck, man.
Anyway, okay, so we're going Souths on that.
Yeah, we're going South on that.
Roosters Cowboys.
This is my game of the round.
Oi.
I think
Keen to hear your thoughts.
both teams are playing really, really good footy. I think they're both coming off the back of some good wins.
Yeah.
Ev, can we ask why Cowboys aren't favourite? Is there injuries? Like, what's the issue
No,
there?
I think it's just because it's Roosters' home ground.
And Roosters' form at the moment.
Yeah, the Cowboys have lost 5 games all year, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah.
like I said, two teams playing really good footy. It's a tough one for me to choose.
Anthony, just before we get to the predictions, why do you reckon Cowboys are going so well this year?
I think their star players. I think basically he's got the whole team playing to some
As a
sort
unit,
of
yeah.
as a unit. I think, but I also think you've got players like Holmes, you've got Drinkwater's having a breakout season, even though he's been around for a couple of years.
What about now?
Tom Lolo's fucking
No.
finally playing more than 40 minutes a game, which I think is massive for them.
Yeah.
And then you've got players like Ruben Cotter, who's come out of nowhere.
Let's not, honestly, I think you guys are missing a very, very important wrestler. Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Tom
and
Dearden.
what I'm saying.
And I think Origin, when he played Origin, he came back like
Yeah,
a gentleman.
100%.
Like he's like, I've achieved Origin.
Yeah.
Now I have to maintain that sort of consistency
Yeah.
and that performance every
and
game.
another
game
one
in
as
and
well, Lukey.
We nearly
Yeah.
did. We
Yeah.
need,
One of the better second rows in
Yeah,
the
but you
game.
know what? It's upsetting.
David, we nearly
He got
didn't.
injured.
Sorry, not Lukey. Nanai.
Nano's unbelievable. But even
No.
Lukey,
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate.
I got it mixed up.
It's unfortunate what happened to Lukey after
Yeah.
the season.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But it's just one of those things when your team's going well, everything's going well. You know, I think everyone shines to an extent.
Okay.
But these players are really
So
stepping
all
up.
right, all this
And
talking, all
they're
this talking.
gelling.
Who are we
They're
going? Who are
I'm
we
going.
going?
I'm going with the Roosters.
You're going Roosters, Anthony.
I'm going Cowboys.
I'm with Anth on this one. Tiebreakers on you, David.
Oh, jeez.
It's a tough game.
It is a tough game. I'm just not a Roosters fan.
So
I
is
don't like
Tedesco
that.
going in a different? Like, does he keep on stepping it up every game?
Well, he's playing amazing at the moment. He really is, you know, and he's sort of brought the Roosters back to form.
You know, I'm gonna go the Roosters.
Roosters.
I'm gonna go the
So
Roosters.
we've got a bit of a tiebreaker
We're
here.
gonna go topic. How about just
we'll worry
let that
about that
round?
later.
How about we just let that round go?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
we'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it.
We'll toss a coin.
Done. Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
Next one, my West Tigers versus Cronulla Sharks. Okay,
I think
guys.
you've used a lot of these issues. a lot of
I have.
a lot of close losses and
I know.
a bit emotional.
I know, it has been. But you know what? I have faith in the boys because next year, with the injection of
Yeah, but there is
Coruscant.
one thing I actually do want to speak
No,
to.
I'm not going to discuss that because
No,
it's
no.
not true.
Me and Chris
It's
have
not
been
true. I
talking
don't
about
talk
this
about it.
actually.
I don't talk about it.
Deep inside your heart, it just go really, really to the core of your heart. Do you see Bulldogs or do you see West Tigers? A lot of people want to know this
Look, I'm not
question.
going to lie to you, man. The sky's been blue lately, man. It really has.
Nice.
It
He's a
really,
Bulldogs supporter.
really,
Get on.
really is.
There we go.
But
Guys, I think this is going to be a quick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharks.
Yeah, we're all on the Sharks.
I'm going to go Cronulla.
$1.20 versus $1.50.
Although my beautiful Tigers, but you know.
Can we get an update of what our multi is looking
Well, our current multi, which is Melbourne Storms at $2.50, Bulldogs $1.55, Rabbitohs $1.55. We've skipped the Roosters Cowboys game.
for now?
Cronulla Sharks at $1.20.
Okay.
We're at $7, David.
Oh, beautiful. Let's keep on going. Next game to hit the ranks, the Brisbane Broncos versus the Newcastle Knights. I'm going to go the Stallions here.
I'm with David on this one.
Yep.
I think pretty easy 2 games.
Okay, Brisbane's going on.
Guys, do we think we up the odds with this one with the 13 plus for Brisbane or?
No, I think leave it simple.
Leave it-
I think it's simple. I think some money to the Mike Hughes Foundation is better than no money.
Correct.
Let's be honest. Canberra Raiders versus the St George Dragons. St George for me this year has been. You see some wonderful things that the team does, and it's like, and you see Ben Hunt do wonderful, beautiful things. Lomas comes out, and then boom. I don't know. It's just is it an adjustment issue? Is it just is it a momentum issue? I don't know. But I think I feel like Canberra was so dirty last week to lose that game in front of that crowd, and a must win. I think they're going to chomp on them. I really feel. Although
Even without Sticky?
I think they're going to play better without Sticky.
I think
To be
so,
honest, I think they're going to be out there saying, "Sorry, like we can do this. You don't have." You know, I'll be keen to know, and we're going to have a couple of the Raiders boys, hopefully in the coming weeks, coming on the show to talk about this. But I'll be keen to know what the vibe is in that room. Because some people tell us like, "Oh, Ricky's like the greatest coaches."
I'm going to go on a limb and I'm going to say it's a bit sticky in there.
You know what? They just re-signed him as well, so that says something.
Well, I mean, if there's any suggestion that the players don't want to play for him, you know, don't want to risk.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Canberra will.
Yeah,
I think Canberra
we're all
will
on the
be
Raiders
there.
on that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Canberra, but I'm not confident.
Okay.
I'll be honest.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not confident
You
with
could see
Canberra
an
because
upset.
St. George and Canberra are both in the same predicament. Inconsistency, you never know what you're going to get. So, I'm not confident. Maybe if Tom Starling got a bit more than 20 minutes a game.
We can't be biased in this situation, Anthony. We're
Well,
going to go Canberra on that
It
one.
depends if his balls are hurting after that kick. But we'll know on Saturday.
Titans versus the Manly Sea Eagles.
I'm gonna go Manly. Titans, you don't know what you're gonna get, and you more often than not get shit with them. So
Yeah, look, this is a tough one. Only because I think, listen, Holbrook he's got his job on the line. You know, A lot of talks up there at the moment.
Can a coach play that much of a part, David?
I don't know.
I've been back in Gold Coast all year,
I know.
and I haven't won a multi all year, so
I know. But I mean, even that stupid stuff with Proctor and the vaping and so it's just
it's just an excuse to get rid of it.
I know it's gone to shambles, I think. But look, for me, I'm going to go to Sea Eagles on this one. I think the guys had pride round, they lost all that bullshit that was gone to the club. The next game they've had the hardest, but they still lost. But I feel like they've gelled now. They've gotten over it. It's in the past. They're going to come strong.
I'll go to Sea Eagles as well.
Yeah, likewise, guys.
Yeah.
Man,
So, do we want to go back to Cowboys
We do.
Roosters, guys?
Does anybody have a coin in their pocket? It's going to be a coin flip this one.
oh, you can't use that. Don't worry about it. You know what? I've got an idea for that one. How about you pick a try scorer for the game? How about we agree on a try scorer for the
That's
game?
fair, Paul.
So Ali,
Well, Sawali's the hot
Sawali
favourite
or two, but
from both
yeah.
teams.
It's got to be one of the winners, yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got Sawali. What do you think?
Yeah.
Mix it up. Let's put Sawali. Give me an update on the ticket, Mr. Mr. Georges.
That's fine. We're at $29, David.
We're at $21. Is that can we boost that up?
We can boost it up to $34 just for the Mark Hughes Foundation.
Done, beautiful. Well, there you go.
So with or without the try scorer?
With the try scorer.
With the try scorer. Okay, we'll run it through with you guys one more time. Play for a cause. We're going to go Melbourne on the head, Dogs on the head, Souths on the head, Cronulla on the head, Brisbane on the head, Canberra on the head, Manly on the head, and Sawali to score in the Roosters Cowboys clash. Paying us 34-1. We're putting NRL on 80 is putting $100 on that odd. 3,400. If that pulls through, that money goes through the goes to the Mark Hughes Foundation, which I believe, come on, let's get it done. Hopefully we can get it done. But that's all we have for you for the show tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have another crack around next week. I'll have Sam. Well, hopefully, how many times reckon you'll get on the show? Come on.
As much as you want, David.
I love you.
Let me
Barbs,
understand,
thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for
Barbs,
having
the Commissioner of the Super League.
Good luck with your
Anthony,
Super League.
thank you.
Anthony, always an absolute pleasure to have you on
The
board.
pleasure's mine, David.
Thank you, and I want to thank everybody else that took part to help the show happen, and also thank you, Ken, for the beautiful segment. I love you guys. Thanks for watching again. From all of us here at NRL 180 Draft Show, thank you. We'll see you soon.